Welcome back. We're now going to talk to sophomore Olivia Hernandez about the upcoming International Awareness Week. Welcome to the show, Olivia.
Thank you for having me, Cyrus.
Well, thanks for coming. You are a part of the the Council of International Awareness here at Baker.
Right, the CIA.
Could you explain what are the objectives of your organization?
Well, basically, the Council for International Awareness is a student-driven organization that drives to raise international awareness just in general on campus, and we do that through a variety of things. We work closely with the study abroad section of the library. We work with study abroad students, amity scholars, heritage students. We basically get to know them and pretty much pick them apart and figure out what types of cultures they come from, how we as an organization can relate their cultures effectively to the students here on campus. We also host dinners throughout the year where we each bring in some sort of ethnic or foreign dish and sit and we just talk about current events, current global events. And it's just really a small forum, a small cozy forum for us to be able to come together and discuss. And then there's also the International Education Week, which happens November 12th through 16th, which we'll talk about later, I'm sure.
And I know there are a lot of things going on in the world, but is there any particular thing that you would like to call attention to or awareness to?
What the Council is choosing to focus on specifically is the crisis in Darfur going on right now in Sudan. We're bringing that to attention specifically through the forum during International Education Week. We're also working closely with Mangano and groups like WIRE, which I know specifically is bringing attention to genocide in Iraq, which is a really touchy subject right now and pretty current, whereas I know Darfur has been happening since 2003. So there's plenty of current special issues going on that CIA is talking about throughout the week.
And how can students participate in the CIA?
Come to the forum, pretty much. I mean, there's plenty of other events happening throughout the week. We have the Global Awareness Fair, which is supposed to be like a mock free market, just to expose students to that kind of economic system, how that works. We're hosting, flag identification contests, but there's also the forum happening November 14th, which is a huge deal. And that's just really a place for students who are either new to the topic or don't really know as much, where they can come together and talk with other students, other more aware students and professors, and we can all just sit down and discuss in depth this issue and what we can do.
And who are a few of the speakers that will be attending this forum?
We have Dr. Anderson, Dr. Beasley. I think we have some of the philosophy professors coming. We have Mangano representatives coming, WIRE representatives coming, CIA is going to be there, and then a whole bunch of different students as well. So it's a pretty well-rounded group.
And one question that a lot of students are asking is, they're wondering, is there a political agenda behind the club? They're not exactly sure what's going on.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a political agenda. I mean, we're not like college Republicans or Young Democrats or anything like that. But I think any group that cares enough about a global issue and is willing to raise awareness is doing that for a reason. And I think that reason is change, to bring about good, positive change in the region, and not only to make yourself more culturally and globally aware. So I think where there's not a political agenda, there is an agenda for change. Whether that should happen politically or not is, I don't know, up to the students. But really that's our agenda, just to raise awareness and to get people fired up about making a good difference in the world.
And so far, have the turnouts been good, or do you think Baker students are very internationally aware of what's going on?
I think Baker students tend to overlook the tools that are presented to them. I mean, this year specifically, I know that we have a real plethora of international presence on the campus. The amity scholars are very personable, very agreeable, very open, and just really fun kids. Anthony and Marlene, I know that you guys have had them on the show, but they're just some of the best individuals I've ever come in contact with. And I think a lot of Baker students, whether their schedules don't allow them, but I think that they might miss these few gems that come along, and really open themselves up to a lot of opportunity. So I think there's definite room for improvement, but so far I know that there are a few students who have taken advantage of what Baker's given them and have found rewards.
And how long has the CIA been going on here at Baker?
CIA I only just found out about CIA over the summer, actually. So that's a different story. But CIA, from what I remember, has been here for quite a few years. I think we've been here about 2 or 3 years. So.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
No, just come to the International Education Week and the forum. Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Olivia, and shedding some light on this topic.
No problem. Thank you very much, Cyrus.
We'll now talk with Freshman Stephen Webb about starting a writers club on campus. Welcome to the show, Stephen. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no problem.
I have a few questions for you. First of all, what gave you the idea to start a writers club?
Well, really, what gave me the idea to start a writers club is that I was looking for creativity and around Baker, and I found some people who were interested in writing, and the people who weren't interested in writing, it's just, I found like people who were just like, essentially they just loved it. And so me and about 2 other people, we decided to start the club. And it's just that I was just writing one day, and then they just came to me and like, well, I had the idea to start the club, so basically that's what we did.
What kind of topics do you enjoy writing about?
What I enjoy to write about is I like to write about fiction, and I like to write about poetry, and in those 2 genres, I really like. In fiction, I really like to write about Japanese, Oriental stuff that has to do with Asia. Right now, I'm at that phase. I'm gradually moving on to other things, but I'm really right there. I'm really at that warrior phase, that samurai phase. So, as far as fiction goes, in poetry, I am writing stuff that has to do with the world. Really, I write a lot about life. I write a lot about how some things need to be better, some things are cool, and I just keep it at that. Sometimes I write depressing poems because when someone is writing, they're better at it when they're in a distressed mode. I found that out countless times when I was in distress, because there's times I've looked back on my writing and I just didn't know who that was because I was so distressed at the time. It's like I had became another person. It's like, because when good writing is when you're in a trance and it's like you can't, you're not yourself, and you just start writing. That's how it is for me. It's just how I interpret it and how I just use it and put my emotions down on paper, and that's what makes it right. That's what makes it poetry. So.
And do you have any favorite authors?
My favorite authors would probably include such people as J.K. Rowling, I.G. Yoshikawa. Probably not too many people know him. He wrote the series called Musashi. It's a historical fiction about a samurai. His name was Musashi Miyamoto. He was he was a legend where he came from. He was an artist, and the series is just mind-blowing. It's really good. The way he describes everything is just, it's flawless, basically. It's a really good book. And I like Eric von Lustbader. The list goes on. It's just, there's a whole bunch of great authors out there that I've kind of modeled after and kind of took after. So it's great just being able to read and write like that. So.